Well, again, certainly would like to welcome everybody here for the March portion of the STalks webinar. And I know, like many of our team, we're very excited to bring back the STalks webinar series, and look forward to the presentation tonight and then those coming up in the future. Aaron, if you wouldn't care to go to the next slide. So I want to start off with a little bit of a background or introduction to who is STgenetics. And STgenetics specializes in dairy and beef cattle genetics. And actually, Sexing Technologies began sorting services in the early 2000s, in 2002. They're a company that markets bull semen worldwide through a network of independent sales reps and also semen distributors. ST operates out of several locations, and 3 of those being in the United States, with the headquarters in Navasota, Texas, just outside of College Station. There's also labs in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, and Tiffin, Ohio. Outside of the U.S., there are ST facilities in Canada and also the United Kingdom. And from the domestic standpoint, there are 8 sorting facilities, 8 ST sorting facilities in the United States. And then internationally, there are 22 sorting facilities that are occupied in 15 different foreign countries. Next slide, please. And at ST, we are very fortunate to have a very talented team of beef regional managers. And currently, there being 4 regional managers that cover the United States. We have Jared Herbst covering the West region, or the western portion of the United States. They're shaded in the light blue. The upper West Central and North Central are tag teamed by Zach Clodfelter and Emily Hermes, both based out of Texas. Emily is actually also the interim regional manager for the Central region, and also covering the East region as well. So Emily covering several territories. And Luke Bradford covers the South Central region, the portion there in the dark blue from Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Louisiana. And the next slide, please, Aaron. And in addition to the regional managers, we're also very fortunate to have 2 very talented individuals in the beef call center, both based out at the headquarters in Navasota, those being Shelby Meyer and Zach Clodfelter. These would be 2 of the individuals that when you call the number listed in the catalog, send a chat online or respond to the beef@stgen.com email. One of these 2 folks are the ones that handle those online orders and also all of the AI certificates. So a very talented team that's part of the beef team that helps make everything so successful. Next slide, please. So I want to start off a little bit on how can semen be sorted. I think one of the things that is very unique to ST and what sets our company apart from our competitors would be the opportunity to make and market sex-sorted semen. So when you think about, or when you hear some folks talk about how semen is sorted, and some of the things that I've heard in the past as well, boys swim faster than girls, or the male chromosome or the male sperm would be larger. But in fact, it actually comes down to the size of the chromosomes or the DNA content. And interestingly, the X chromosomes actually have more DNA than the Y chromosomes, and it's about 4%. And the picture on the right really depicts that the X chromosome is about 4% larger than the Y chromosome. And the semen is sorted using a process known as flow cytometry. This was a sorting process that was developed by researchers at the USDA. And as a part of the process, there is a special media that's used during the sorting process that protects and also nourishes the sperm. And in addition to the sorting media, there is also a fluorescent dye that is added. And that fluorescent dye is attracted to the genetic material. So it's attracted to those X and Y chromosomes. So as the fluorescent dye is added, and I just mentioned that the X chromosome is about 4% larger and they have more DNA, the more DNA that those sperm cells contain, the more dye that is absorbed. And on the next slide, there's a picture that depicts the process of flow cytometry. And so the process of flow cytometry, this is just a quick snapshot So at the top of the picture, the semen is actually seen going through in a single file line. So it's a centrifuge. So this machine is spinning, and it's able to separate the semen out into individual sperm cells passing through the machine. As the semen passes through, there's a light blue line that's at a horizontal angle. And as these sperm cells that pass through, and remember that there's a fluorescence that's added to the semen sample. So as you look at the arrow there, right where the arrow is hovering, as that semen passes through, there's actually a laser. And as it moves down the machine, as the amount of fluorescence is detected, and that is read by a machine, and there'll be a peak of a graph. And as the semen continues to go down, and based upon the peak, or based upon the signal intensity that the lasers detect, the semen is then deflected into one of two different tubes, and is able to sort out based on the amount of fluorescence detected into female or male sperm cells. And then in the middle, you'll also see another small vial where dead or non-living cells or non-sperm cells are passed through and are discarded. So we're left with the female or male sperm cells. On our next slide, I wanted to include a little bit of information on our product, the Sex Ultra 4M semen. And with this product, there are 4 million sperm cells per quarter cc straw. And the semen is sorted at a gender accuracy of 90% or higher. And research has demonstrated that the conception rates with the Sex Ultra 4M product rival that of the conventional semen. Within the last 10 years, there's been more than 50 million sex-sorted semen units produced at ST Labs, and this includes both beef, dairy, and also custom collections. So I wanted to now kind of turn our attention and think about it in terms of commercial beef production. And really, what are the goals of commercial cattlemen? And if we think about it, and no matter when we're marketing our cattle, whether that is just straight off the cow, whether that's after a preconditioning program, maybe we sell at yearlings, maybe we sell fat cattle. And ultimately, it comes down to we're selling pounds is really what we're marketing. So ways to maximize revenue would be through the ability to sell more calves, to sell calves that are heavier, calves that weigh more at the time of market, or sell higher valued calves. And normally when I have these slides set up, I try to have some animations in here where I throw out two different prices. So for this example, it's 157 per hundredweight or 162. And when you just look at the prices, and I usually throw out which calf do you think is worth more money? Well, without any other information, if I didn't give the weights on the slide, right, it would be pretty easy to think that the calf that is bringing $1.62 should be worth more than the calf that brings $1.57. In fact, when you start to look at the normal price slide, this is data from Kentucky sales summarized from 2010 to 2021, and these are the average prices for these weight ranges. So it's a 50-pound slide. So a calf that weighs 575 pounds, and this is a steer, is valued during this 12-year period at just over $900 a head. Then the calf that brings more on a price per pound or a price per hundredweight, but that calf weighs 50 pounds less. The value of that calf was $852. So the big takeaway is that heavier calves are worth more, even though those heavier calves are selling at a lesser price per pound. So I tried to go a little bit another step further and really to look at and to differentiate the prices of a steer calf and a heifer calf. And we know that typically those steers and heifers born in the same calf crop, that typically those steers will weigh more at weaning. So just for this example, again, this is the same set of data from Kentucky, that a 550-pound steer and a 500-pound heifer, and I compared those prices on a per head basis from 2010 to 2000, all the way through December of 2021. And you can really see that I think we all wish that we have the calf prices in 2015. But historically, across this 11-year period, Aaron, if you hit the button one more time, a box should pop up. But historically, after this 11-year period, the advantage of a 550-pound steer versus a 500-pound heifer is $150 per head. So we know that heavier calves are worth more, and we know that steer calves are also more valuable. So one thing that we have started to now approach is taking a whole herd approach, but utilizing sex-sorted semen and utilizing the Sex Ultra 4M product. And one method to do that would be to use both the female and male sorted semen, but in conjunction with each other, in combination, but taking a very targeted and very strategic breeding approach. And the method would be to take the female sorted semen and use that in sires with strong maternal characteristics, sires that you want to create daughters out of, sires that excel for udder quality, foot and leg structure. And the thought would be to breed all yearling heifers and 2-year-olds to female sorted semen. We know that heifers at birth are smaller than bull calves, right? Heifers weigh less at birth than bull calves, and really to reduce the incidence of dystocia. I don't think anybody really likes to pull a calf in the middle of the night. But then also breed the top 10 to maybe 25% of the mature cows, really identifying those cows that are your top producers, those cows that you want to generate daughters out of, cows that you want to continue on those cow family names and continue to produce in the herd. Then we have the remaining about 75% of the cow herd. And those are the cows to maximize performance, to maximize efficiency, to maximize pounds. And one method would be to utilize male sorted semen, but of now terminal sires, sires that excel for performance and carcass traits. And maybe those are high dollar B Angus bulls. Maybe those are Charolais bulls. But taking a very targeted breeding approach, identifying the cows that you want to generate daughters out of, and then also the sires that you want daughters out of as well, and making a very strategic breeding program. And then coming back on those females as mature cows with male sorted semen of terminal sires, again, to maximize pounds and to maximize production efficiency. In our next few slides, we'll really dive in a little bit deeper into some benefits of those crossbred females or those crossbred replacements. So one very common example and something that's easy to think about and easy to visualize is the infamous black baldy. So I tried to dig through a little bit and look at what are some of the benefits of crossbred females. And research has demonstrated that crossbred females have increased levels of fertility and about 6% higher calving rate. But they're also more productive with a 4% higher calf survival and an 8% increase in efficiency. In addition to those benefits of fertility and productivity, there's an increase in longevity by 38%, or how long those crossbred females are remaining in the herd. And when we add all of those things up together, it equates to a 23% higher lifetime productivity. So by using female sorted semen of maternal-oriented sires you want to generate daughters out of, we're able to increase the productivity of our cow herd. Then on the flip side, we still have the remaining portion of the cow herd and utilizing male sorted semen and terminal sires to maximize our profit potential. So what are some benefits of the crossbred steers? And the picture on the right is taking that black baldy and mating her to a Charolais bull and producing this Charolais steer, excuse me. And really after here, trying to maximize performance, maximize pounds, and maximize the opportunity for profit. So benefits of crossbred steers include an increased calf survival by about 4%. And the big driver here is pounds. And we talked earlier about the benefits of that heavier cattle are worth more. And with crossbred steers, there's a 5% increase in weaning weights and a 6% increase in their post-weaning gains. But by using this very strategic and very thought out and a whole herd approach, utilizing gender sorted semen, we're able to maximize heterosis with the 3-way cross. That also allows us to maximize the growth rate, to maximize feed efficiency, ultimately our sale weight. But at the end of the day, it comes down to value and the value of those cattle. In our next slide, we have some data from Dr. Ken Odie at Kansas State University, and this was done at his ranch in the summer of 2019. And this is looking at the market value of his calves during a research project. So Dr. Odie adopted this whole herd approach and this whole herd breeding strategy, where he bred all of his yearling heifers and all of his 2-year-olds to female sorted semen of maternal sires. And he happened to use an Angus sire in this example. Then Dr. Odie had 2 groups of mature cows. And those mature cows, he was looking to maximize the profit potential of those cows. And he used male sorted semen of a Charolais bull, here trying to maximize not only the number of steers that would be raised to market, but also to maximize pounds. So if we look at the column towards the middle, and this is an adjusted weight at 200 days of age. And our 2 groups of heifer calves of the maternal genetics, remember, that their average weight was about 500 pounds. But then when we compare that to those weaning weights or the 200-day adjusted weights for the mature cows, it's 100 pounds heavier. Those mature cows that were bred to Charolais bulls using male sorted semen, those average weights were now just average 600 pounds compared to 500 of those heifer calves. So I pulled some data, and this is the market report from yesterday at the Oklahoma City National Stockyards in Oklahoma City. Again, this is for a 525-pound heifer, and then also a 614-pound steer. Those were the average prices from yesterday. So when you work out the math, and the sale price really isn't the important thing here. The important and the big thing that I'd like to pull out of this slide is our last column where the mouse is circling now. And this is the dollars per head. So the value of that 500-pound heifer or the value of that 600-pound steer. And that price difference is $200. And in fact, Dr. Arnett, you and I did this presentation just a few weeks ago in Montana, and I pulled the prices from Montana. And although the values or the price per pounds were different than they were for yesterday in Oklahoma City, the price differential is really what I want to focus on here. The price difference between a steer and a heifer, in this case being $200. The last few times I've pulled numbers and pulled market reports, the number is usually right around the $200 mark, simply by having a very targeted breeding program and pulling a different straw of semen out of the tank. So rather than pull a 1 unit of conventional semen and using a terminal sire and conventional semen, and now we end up with some terminal heifers. And if we end up putting a terminal heifer into our cow herd, well, we're losing those maternal genetics that we're after. And similarly, if we use a maternal bull and conventional semen and we get a maternal bred steer, well, that steer isn't going to be as worth as much as that Charolais bred steer. So by taking this very specific, but still very easy to implement by pulling a different straw of semen out of the tank, we're able to capture that additional revenue of about $200 per head, and the price difference there between a steer and a heifer. With that, Dr. Arnett, at this time, I'd like to turn the presentation over to you.
All right. Well, thank you, Ben. We were able to tag team that thing pretty good. So thanks for doing a great job on the first part of that presentation. So, one of the things we wanted to share with you, like we do on many of these webinars, is a few sire highlights and some updates of what's going on the genetics side of STgenetics. And so I'm going to share a few bulls with you this evening, but I want to start off with a slide that just kind of shows a summary of some of the bulls that are available at STgenetics. We've been fortunate to round up a lot of bulls, probably more bulls than we realize at times in our lineup, but we're knocking on the door of about 80 active Angus bulls that we're marketing, about 175 bulls total. And the cool thing too is we got some diversity in our lineup. We've got a few of these breeds that you might not find in every other AI stud catalog around the country, and particularly strong in the Brahman breed for those of you in the South, and got a few interesting different types and kinds of bulls. So some diversity to represent. We're not going to talk about all of them this evening, but just a few of the highlights. And I would start by saying that just because a bull isn't on a slide tonight or you don't see him on one of the featured slides. That doesn't mean that's not a good bull. It's just for sake of time. We're going to focus on a few of the highlights and then leave time for questions. So I'd be remiss if I probably didn't start with Keneally Emerald. When people talk about balanced trait sires, sires that are proven calving ease bulls with really, really good fertility, and bulls that kind of do a lot of things well, Keneally Emerald checks those boxes as well as any bull in the Angus breed. If you look across his genetic profile, that bull is probably in the top third or top 25% of the breed for just many, many different traits, and that makes him a high indexing bull. One of the great things about Emerald, and one of the reasons we bought him originally, was we wanted him to be a heifer bull candidate. And without question, now he's one of the great calving ease bulls available in the Angus population. He's up in the mid-90s for birth weight accuracy, and people consistently report great calf vigor out of Emerald. These calves come small at birth, but they get right up and suck. And the first daughters of Emerald are now calving here this spring. And I've actually have a couple of them here at my place, and they got beautiful little udders on them. They're nice little cows. If you like big cows, Emerald's probably not your bull. But if you like disciplined-sized cows with really nice udders, soft rib shape, and a really maternal look, Keneally Emerald can provide that to a very high degree. The other thing we're finding about Emerald is his shedding ability. He's a slick-haired bull, and these first yearling cattle out of Emerald last year slicked off really well. In the summer heat, they were some of the first cattle to shed. So we think he's a great option in the south and southeast, places that are on fescue and places that are concerned about quick shedding of cattle. Emerald's a great option. The other thing I referenced earlier, he's a great fertility bull. He's available in high fertility, sexed ultra 4M semen, as well as conventional. And so if you want to use this bull in sexed female or sexed male, both those products are available. Really, really unique Emerald Emerald bull that has several sons selling here in the Keneally sale coming up on Saturday. Next bull I want to share is STalks Intuition. He was the top selling bull from the STalks sale in the fall of 2020. And we've got the first calves now on the ground from STalks Intuition. He would be one of the largest sire groups represented at STalks currently. Not only is he a unique bull on paper at the top 3% of the breed for $C, we like some physical attributes of STalks Intuition. His feet and foot quality are about as good as you can get for an Angus bull. We think you can just run a dollar bill down the front toes of STalks Intuition and never touch a toe. That bull's as deep a heeled from the side view as you can make an Angus bull. And again, a conservative sized bull. It's really good in climates or in environments where feed costs and mature cow size need to be considered. This bull papped at a 39 at 12 months of age. Some of the unique features of his genetic profile are that he's in the top 20% of the breed for calving ease. He's top 15% for heifer preg. One of the neat things about him is he's over 1 for marbling. I call him an outcross marbling sire, and that makes him somewhat of a dollar value improver. One of the things that Jim Sitz has reported and several other customers that have used Intuition is the calving ease in the heifers. I can say with some level of confidence that Sitz Intuition should be a heifer safe bull. And I think as you go into the spring 2022 breeding season, you ought to be able to use Sitz Intuition with confidence in heifers. So very unique sire, a little different pedigree out of an old Jower 589, Traveler 589 daughter that's a highly proven cow. It's kind of neat to see an old cow be the dam of a young bull in a bull stud, because that doesn't always happen. And it's neat to see one here that's got a great proven dam behind him. Go on to the next slide here, and we'll talk about Myers Fair and Square. If you're following along with us in your STgenetics catalog, Fair and Square is the first bull on a full page, and he's on page 7 in the catalog. And Fair and Square, hopefully he's becoming a little bit of a household name by now, but if you haven't heard of him, he's a unique one that you need to be aware of. Not only is he a top-end $C bull that really improves a lot of genetic traits, he has some physical attributes that are hard to quantify on paper. This is a robust made, stout featured Angus bull that excels for muscle expression. He's big topped, big hipped, really wide based. One of the most impressive views of Fair and Square is the rear view. You see his muscle expression. He's a full quartered, really, really deep and soluble that's got a lot of dimension and center body within him. The other thing about this bull, a lot like Intuition, his feet are outstanding. I would put fair and square's feet up against any bull in the Angus breed being offered in the AI industry right now for foot quality. And we're very proud of that here at STgenetics, and his genetic data reflects that. Fair and square is in the top 1 or 2% of the population for both of the foot EPDs. Some other things that are hard to quantify on paper. The Grand Dam of Fair and Square, I love telling this story because we want to have bulls that are out of really fertile and productive cows. And the Grand Dam of Fair and Square bred first service AI for 11 consecutive years. There's not many cows in the world anymore that you can say have that kind of fertility. So we like this bull a lot. We think he is very timely for the Angus breed. He does a lot of things that breeders are asking for right now. His semen is really good in fertility. He's available in conventional as well as sexed. As far as how you mate fair and square and how you hook him, he's a little more disciplined in size. I would use him on a little bigger statured, longer bodied kind of a female. I like to hook fair and square to square hipped, big cows that need stoutened up. He'll add base width, he'll add body density, he'll add muscle expression. And so to hook fair and square, there's some ways you need to do it. And a long bodied, really feminine fronted cow is a great way to make fair and square. Next bull I want to talk about is on page 9. He's Hoffman Thedford. Again, many of you might be aware of this bull. He's one of our top selling bulls right now. Thedford was the top selling bull from the Jason Hoffman or Hoffman Ranch sale out of Nebraska about a year ago. And he's been a great seller for us so far. One of the unique things about Thedford, in addition to his unique phenotype, is he's in the top 1% of the breed for dollar maternal, dollar B, and that makes him in the top 1% for dollar C. And he's well into the top 1% for dollar C, not just 1%. He's deep into the top 1% for dollar combined. He happens to be the top heifer preg jet black son in the Angus breed, which makes him really cool. He'll improve that heifer preg EPD by a pretty good margin. He's a big time spread bull. He's at 14 on calving ease direct, out to 155 for yearling. I'm not saying all Angus bulls need to be 155 on yearling, but if you want to spread out calving ease and yearling growth, Thedford's a great bull to do it. And, this bull's cow line, we keep talking about the cows behind these bulls. The great 3839 is the dam of Thedford, a highly proven donor dam that sold for $155,000 a year ago. She's got probably a half a dozen sons in the AI industry. Thedford is arguably one of the most unique. I think Thedford's unique because of his outcross. If you look at his pedigree and you look at some of the genetics behind him, he can uplift dollar maternal, dollar B, and dollar C on a lot of pedigrees that are high dollar C. So great outcross sire out of a great cow. I've got Thedford calves here at my house out of heifers, and I've traveled a fair amount around the country this spring already, and they're saying Thedford calves are a sleep all night heifer bull. He's a bigger statured, longer bodied bull. He's not super thick, not super wide in terms of his chest floor. The bull profile is really, really nice. He's good structured, really good footed, very square in his hip and deep in his body cavity. I would hook Thedford to a lower set, wider base kind of a female that just needs some stature, needs some length of neck, and needs some elegance is the way to hook Thedford. And I think you'll get along very, very well. Again, a really nice outcross option. Here's another son of the great 3839 in Hoffman High Road. He's on page 10 in the catalog this spring. He's a growth fund son out of 3839, but also sold, I think he was the second high selling bull behind Thedford in the same sale at Hoffman Ranch. And this bull is unique because of his calving ease. He's a cleaner fronted, cleaner naveled growth fund son. It's a big time spread bull, a little bit like Thedford in that he gets you double digit calving ease, but still lots of yearling performance, a big dollar maternal bull that's really good for dollar combined. This bull is really massive built, and I'll stick my neck out and say that that High Road is standing a little bit too much in the shadow of Thedford in a way, because Thedford's a big number, really unique bull. Don't get me wrong, but High Road is a big time bull. And phenotypically, you put those two bulls side by side, High Road's probably bigger barreled, bigger rib, deeper bodied, has just more mass and substance to him. I think the people who use Hoffman High Road will be rewarded in the daughters that they receive out of him. Maybe a couple of years coming, but I'll tell you what, High Road is a big time son of the great 3839. One of the unique young bulls in our lineup that appears in the catalog for the first time this spring on page 12 is Tehama Testament. This is the top-selling bull from Tehama Angus Ranch in California last fall. He was their Lot 1 bull, top seller. He's a patriarch son out of a wisdom daughter. And this is the bull that Tehama is going to use to go forward with the patriarch line. They're kind of done using patriarch. They're going to use Testament instead because he offers some unique genetic pieces. One of the things is the cow line behind him. Lots of proven dams behind this bull, lots of proven cows along the cow family of the Tehama Testament line. You can see his full sister here. She's a really tidy uddered heifer with really good teat placement. If you look at the genetic profile of Testament, he's knocking on the door of 100 for dollar maternal. That helps him get over 300 for dollar combined. I really like bulls that are over 300 for dollar C, and they get there by and large by being high dollar maternal bulls. Testament's a great example of that. One of the reasons he's a high dollar M bull is his foot scores are so good. He's top 2% for claw, top 1% for angle, and he's an outcross marbling bull. He's over 1 for marbling with no of the usual suspects in his pedigree in terms of being high marbling. He can be used on a lot of pedigrees. He's a high heifer preg bull. It's modest for milk. I think he's in the low to mid 20s for milk, and just a lot of unique places to use this young sire. There's a better picture coming of this bull. Admittedly, that's not the greatest picture that ever lived, but that bull is soggy middled, really loose middled, deep flanked, big hipped, just a bull that is the right kind of Angus bull for the times. If I were going to mate him a little bit, this is another conservative sized bull in terms of stature. He's a great bull to add some fleshing ability, some volume and capacity to cattle, probably some muscle expression and to cattle that are bigger outline, longer body that just need a little more base width in them. So Testament's a really unique sire so far. The semen's been good. He's one of these bulls at the stud that the folks in the barn and the folks in the lab would tell you he's one of their favorites. He passes almost every time he's collected. Semen quality is really, really good on Testament, and we hope to have some sex semen available on this guy. Next bull, KG Just Cause on page 14. He's a big calving ease bull, and you know it's hard to find in our business a calving ease bull that's like at 15 on calving ease and negative for birth weight that looks like Just Cause. This is a stout, square-hipped, really massive built bull that is an awesome calving ease bull. We think he's ultra unique in the population. His sire is recently deceased and there's not a lot of semen available. Here's a really nice next step in the justified line of cattle. We were fortunate to see Just Cause's dam at KG the other week when we traveled in Montana. This is a picture of her that I would argue underserves her value. She's a nice cow in that picture, but she's much more powerful than that to my eye. When we saw her a couple of weeks ago in person, she had just calved, had a beautiful udder underneath her, a long, clean, feminine neck, really nice Angus head, very angular kind of a female that had lots of body, very square-hipped and good nerve structure. So we're pretty excited about this young bull. He's flying under the radar screen just a little bit, but we think he's going to be ultra-maternal, really good for heifer preg and dollar maternal traits. The semen quality has been good on Just Cause as well. If you're a big heifer project customer that's watching this evening, if you want to use this bull in commercial heifer projects, I think he'd be a safe bet and one that you'll be rewarded for when you get those daughters in production. Next bull is another justified son. This is Bear Mountain Justified bull we picked up as a mature bull, and I would use this as an opportunity to direct you to our website, STgen.com, and look at the videos of the bulls. Most of the bulls have videos there at our website on their unique pages, and Justify's got a really good video. You can actually see his feet in the video where he picks them up and puts them down. And this is another big spread bull that's a calving ease bull outcrossed for marbling. 10 on calving ease out to 145 on yearling. But one of the unique things about him, he's a big heifer preg bull with superior fertility. We now have sex semen available on Justify in addition to conventional. This bull, one of the things we liked about him was his first yearling calf crop. There were several sons of him that went into the AI industry. He kind of stamped those cattle pretty consistently with a really good look. And there was the top selling bull from Bear Mountain the other day went to Chad Ellingson and Jim Sitz, and that bull was out of a full sister to Bear Mountain Justify. So study this bull's data, study this bull's phenotype, study what this bull has done so far with his progeny. He's a unique bull in the Angus population. And we think he's got places to be used both commercially and in the seed stock side. Bear Mountain Justify. Next bull we want to talk about is on page 19, and this is KCF Bennett Exponential. And I was curious to see how this bull worked out, and I'm as excited about him as ever based on recent travels. We were recently at Keneally's and Benoit's, Kansas for Benoit's and Keneally's in Nebraska, and Ben and I saw exponential calves of various ages at both those operations that just got us excited. Those cattle have a lot of muscle expression. They're rapid early growth in those cattle. And this is one of the bulls that, so many AI stud bulls, their data goes down. Their big number the day they sell, and then every day after that, their data goes south. Exponential is kind of an exception there. His data has gotten better with progeny data, and his genetic profile is really strong. He's in the top 1% of the breed for $B, almost $360 C, well into the top 1% for $C. And the cool thing is he's outcrossed as it gets. This bull can be used on so many different pedigrees, so many different places. This is a great bull to tie into double-digit CED, but still have really high growth. He's knocking on the door of 170 for yearling weight. Big-time carcass bull as well. Marbling's up in close to the top 1%. Ribeyes well into the top 1% of the breed. And I'll be the first to grant you this bull's a little ugly-headed. He's a little ugly-fronted. Some of these bomber cattle can be a little bit that way. But I think this is the most unique bomber son in the Angus breed. Monster-topped, really big-hipped, really full-quartered. And the performance in these cattle is just tremendous. So we're excited what we're seeing about Exponential. Personally, I'm as excited about Exponential as I've ever been. These cattle are really, really good. And if you want to increase performance, increase stature a little bit, here's the way to do it. Next bull is what I call the crowd favorite bull from Gardner's in 2021. This was the phenotype standout in the Gardner sale, and he's a quantum out of a Surefire daughter. In my view, he combines phenotype and genetic merit or genotype to about as high degree as we can go. This bull has a nice picture, but I'm telling you, this bull is better than this picture, and it probably captures as much phenotypic excellence out of a Gardner pedigree as I've been around for a while. 14 on calving up to 136 on yearling. Big time Scannon bull, big time marbling and ribeye bull. This bull's being heavily used at Gardner's, not only for his data, but for the quality he offers. He's great footed, great disposition, and he's really the right kind. He's softer middled, deeper flanked, easier fleshing than some of these cattle that you'd expect out of this pedigree. These cattle are going to be really, really good. He's getting used at places like Baldridge's in Nebraska. Several other prominent herds are using GAR Quantum Leap. One of the things we like about the Gardner cattle is they come out of big contemporary groups, over 200 head in a contemporary group, ratioing 103 for IMF and 118 for ribeye. That's pretty good stuff out of a really, really nice looking bull that I think offers some unique things in terms of his phenotype. Next bull, and I think this is the last Angus bull we'll look at here and then move on to a couple other breed highlights. But on page 23, there's a unique bull that was the top selling bull at the Midland Bull Test about a year ago. This is a bull called Sterling Bond. And not only is he another rock star on paper, a big indexing bull that's top 1% for $C, $B, $M are really high. This bull's in the top 10% or better for both claw and angle EPDs, and his feet look that way. He's an excellent, excellent footed Confidence Plus son. People say, well, why in the world would you buy another Confidence Plus son? There's Confidence Plus all over the breed. It's hard to outcross to Confidence Plus. Why would you buy a Confidence Plus son? Well, this one's really unique. Not only did he perform well at the Midland Bull Test, he is at one time and may still be the largest scrotal EPD Confidence Plus son in the breed. He's got more scrotal EPD and more actual scrotal than most Confidence Plus sons I've ever been around. The other cool thing about this bull is he is royally bred. He is a maternal brother to Hoover No Doubt. So the cow down there is the dam of Hoover No Doubt. She's also the dam of Sterling Bond. And one of the great well-bred bulls that probably has as much of a proven pedigree for a young bull that you can find in the Angus breed. This is a bigger statured, longer bodied bull. Use this bull to increase length of body, length of neck, femininity in cattle. I would recommend using this bull on a lower set, heavier muscle, denser made kind of a female. And this is a bull that can put some style and eye appeal into the profile of some cattle. A great option and one of the unique Confidence Plus sons in the Angus population. Let's move on to a couple other breeds here quick. Just share with you one Simmental bull. OMF Epic has been just a real blessing to have in our line. We're fortunate to have this bull outcross homozygous black, homozygous polled purebred Simmental sire that is just doing all the things right that he needs to do, both phenotypically and genetically. Here's a bull that top 10% or better of the breed for a lot of the indexes, a lot of the traits. This bull is the bull we've used so far in our lineup to measure fertility against all the other bulls because he's as good as it gets for fertility. A really good bull for semen quality. If you've got hard breeding cows, if you've got cows you want to flush to, here's a great option. This bull's been out of our possession for a little while now, and he's been so popular that we've run out of sexed semen on him, and we've been trying to get him back into the bull stud here for a while now, and we're fortunate to have him back. He's in Tiffin, Ohio now, going through CSS qualification, and we are very highly anticipating having sex semen available again on OMF Epic, hopefully later in the spring, early summer, but more sex semen's on the radar. We've got ample supplies of conventional semen on Epic. Talk about a Hereford bull quick, and this is the top-selling bull from Sandhill Farms in Kansas. You look at this bull's picture, he's another one to really appreciate on his video on our website at stgen.com. One of the great phenotype Hereford bulls that sold in the last couple of years, in my opinion. He's the top seller from Sandhill and just got an exceptional look to him. He's up-headed, long-necked, really big-topped and thick-ended. Just an impressive beef bull, no matter what breed you're talking about. This bull really writes the numbers the way they should. Big-time bull in terms of his spread of calving ease out to weaning and yearling growth. Big ribeye and marbling bull, as you would expect from the Sandhills program. I mean, this bull's got carcass bred into him, but also a quality look. Out of a low-and-bred cow, a good-uddered Hereford female that's really square-hipped and good-topped, a female that really offers a lot of pedigree flexibility when you talk about a mating program. He's currently available in conventional semen. I'm going to, again, stick my neck out and say we might have sex semen on this guy sooner than later. And we know that there's a lot of people waiting on the opportunity for sex semen. We're working on getting that available. So one of the unique homozygous polled Hereford bulls in the Hereford population in SHF Houston. Talk about a Red Angus bull quick. This is a unique addition to our lineup called Private Stock. This is Canadian genetics. So a lot of the Canadian Red Angus bulls are very outcrossed to a lot of the Red Angus cattle we have in the U.S. Look at the balance of traits that you find in this Private Stock bull. He's a John Wick son. John Wick is dead, and that semen sells for a lot of money, $1,500 to $2,000 a straw. That's his sire down there on the lower right. And he's out of a Weber Reformed daughter. So really uniquely bred bull that's super outcrossed to a lot of cattle in the Red Angus population in the U.S. Here's a bull that balances excellent maternal excellent growth and carcass traits, and just a unique option to plug into a lot of different places. Talk about one of the highlights in the Charolais world. And again, as we talk about sexed male terminal sires, we think Charolais can be one of those options. One of the features of that breed in our lineup is a bull called LT Countdown. Super long-bodied, square-hipped, really well-balanced bull in terms of his structure, in terms of his eye appeal. This bull is an awesome heifer bull. He's smooth-shouldered, really nice in his rib shape, but he's high for calving ease, low for birth weight, but still gets you up in the top 2% of the population for his TSI or terminal sire index. So as you know from the LT program, this is one of the great bulls from the Brent Thiel program. In fact, I was communicating with Brent this week, and he said, is there a chance that I can get LT Countdown back at my place and run him in my pastures here? I think we should have maybe retained some possession on this bull, because they're very high on LT Countdown and what we're seeing out of his progeny so far. So if you're breeding Charolais heifers, this is a great option, but he does a lot of other things well also. So again, we're going to kind of close it up with there because we want to leave a little time for questions. There's our contact information for both Ben and I, and you can sort things out and view things on our website. But I just want to say that a couple of things. One, from the customers that are on tonight, thank you for your business. Our business at STgenetics Beef is growing at a rapid pace, and that couldn't be possible without the support of really great customers. And I see that several of my coworkers are on here tonight, and I'll tell you, it's fun to go to work every day at STgenetics because I've got some of the greatest coworkers and some of the greatest teammates that I've ever worked with. And so there's cool things happening in our program. We appreciate your support, and we'll open it up for questions at this time. Thank you for listening.
Aaron, I'll go ahead and start. We were fortunate enough to receive a few comments off of our social media pages before tonight's meeting. And I guess I would like to preface that with, I do apologize if my video was turned off during my presentation. But one of the first questions that we got here is, when do we anticipate an updated picture and video of Beal Breakthrough?
I think, that was a young bull. That bull fortunately produced really well as a young bull. I'll be the first to admit we don't have the best picture of him yet. I'd say we might try him this spring. We're still working on some photographer stuff for this spring, but worst case scenario, we'll have a new picture of him this fall. A new video at the same time. That's been a good fertility bull, by the way. I think a lot of folks have been flushing to him, and that bull cranks out piles of semen. So he's been good so far.
Well, while we're on the lines of pictures and videos, there was also a comment from Scott. Scott was interested in if there was any video of OMF Epic, and you talked about Epic in the presentation, and Scott's curious if there's a video available on that bull.
Yeah, we don't have a video of him currently. We can sure get you one, Scott. That bull just arrived back at the stud here recently. And worst case scenario, we'll get a video this fall of him, but we can sure get you a video. If there's specific things you want to see on a bull, just reach out to Ben or myself or one of our team members, and we're happy to get you pictures of their feet or a little cell phone video of them or something. If there's something you're wanting to see or a question you have, we'll sure try to get it for you.
We've had a few questions pop up here in the chat. So I'll kind of go through those. I think we have a few minutes for some of these, and it's on a few bulls we did not cover tonight. And the first question here from Kurt is if you could comment on SAV Cattle Master.
Yeah, SAV Cattle Master was one of the top selling bulls at Shaw several years ago, maybe back in 2017 or 16, somewhere in there. He's a 72-29 son of a net worth daughter. And that bull, so the things that I like about that bull is he's modest for size, but just monster width in that bull. I mean, he's got a tremendous chest floor and base width in him. Lots of curvature to his rib. He's a big top, big hipped bull. Lots of muscle expression from behind. The bull is tremendous for docility. This bull, we actually took some pictures with him, and you know, he's just a pet. I mean, the bull is just got tremendous manners. Really nice bull to be around. And sounds like 2015, Neil. Thank you that bull came into our lineup. But other things about him, he's really good footed. That bull's got big feet. He's got a lot of circumference to his foot and really good foot and toe shape. It's fun. It's kind of fun to talk about that bull because our coworker, Neil, who's on the call tonight, identified that bull for Brazil before many of us were on the team at ST. And they've used a lot of semen out of Cattle Master. He's been one of the popular bulls in Brazil. And he was it kind of took him a while to become one of the bulls that people really recognized in the U.S. But the cattle are really good out of him. They're super thick, big top, good growing cattle. The things that you need to protect him on a little bit, they can be a little shorter bodied. From the side view, they're not super big frame cattle. I think that if you're wanting, cattle that have lots of stature in them or have lots of just extended growth curve, you need to hook him to cows that are a little bigger and longer. But I love the body density in Cattle Master. I love the muscle expression and just power that bull brings forth.
Good. Another question that just came in, Aaron, is on a bull Musgrave exclusive. And we were fortunate enough to see Musgrave at TD Angus last week at Trey's just before their big sale. And this individual is interested in breeding recommendations for exclusive. And specifically, would you classify him as a bigger frame version of Capitalist 316?
Yeah, great question. And we didn't include him tonight because, again, for sake of time, a lot of folks already know who Musgrave 316 exclusive is. And he's been one of the bulls that's helped get legs under our beef program at ST. And we're very fortunate to have that bull in our lineup. I'd just comment first that some of the daughters, in big numbers of daughters, are now getting into production. And Musgraves in particular, just absolutely love them. They're square uddered with really good teat placement, good fleshing ability, good fertility, and just nice medium-sized cows that they're turning into. So again, very, very positive on exclusive. But kind of how you had made him, I think the bull has kind of ended up being, as a proven bull, kind of a balanced trait sire. I think he's acceptable for heifers in most scenarios. He maybe not as low birth weight or as high calving ease as some that you can find, but he's certainly good enough. And then the cattle are just super, super nice in terms of their balance of traits. Those cattle are straight and strong topped. They're big hipped. They're super long bodied, but they still have enough depth of body and softness of middle to go with it. And I think that the higher performing version of 316 is a great way to describe exclusive. Those cattle probably have just a notch more stature to them. They probably have a notch more outline to them. If you look at their silhouette or their outline of their body, there's just a little more there. The good things about 316, they were nice little cows. They're big bodied, easy fleshing. And I think exclusive does that just on a little bigger scale. So great bull in our lineup and a great fertility bull as well. Exclusive has had good success at the bull sales here this spring. He sold about a $300,000 son at Hearts, and then he's had several top sellers in bull sales this spring, and the bull sale averages out of the exclusive sons have been very good.
I think we probably have time for one more question here, and this came from Emmy Lou prior to tonight's meeting off of social media. And she's curious if we offer any internships for ag students. And I I was very pleased to see that and some interest from some young people. And I know we had a few young individuals stop by our booth at Ohio Beef Expo and kind of asking some similar questions. So really here is the opportunity for internships.
Yeah, absolutely. We do. We offer internships at all of our locations that I'm aware of. I know we have several in Ohio and also at our headquarters in Navasota, Texas. So best way to address internships is to reach out to one of us on the beef team, and we'll sure try to put you in contact with someone that is aligned with your interests and your skill sets and the things that you want to learn more about and that you want to get more experience on. We'll certainly do our best to kind of connect you with those people within our company. And we can stop here, but also happy to answer any other questions that anybody else may have. So we're happy to answer more questions and do anything we can to help everybody be successful this spring breeding season. Well, seeing no more, I think we'll kind of close it with that. But again, thanks everybody for your support. Thanks for being on here. If you've got more questions after tonight, please reach out to us. And thanks for your time.